Well, I guess lately they've been like opening up a lot more to youth, but for quite a few years we were just told like go somewhere else. We don't want to deal with you guys. You know, we don't want to see the dirty street kids, pretty much was the, you know, impression that we all got.
Especially being street youth and stuff like that, you know, it's a different culture from going to school and going straight to university and, you know, the proper white collar kind of thing, or blue collar or whatever.
It's not just this one class of people using these things. It's not your dirty kid wearing ripped up jeans or like a flannel shirt with boots. Like, you could look right next to you and not even notice that there's an addict sitting there. Like,
you know, there's a stigmatization to drug use and to certain kinds of drug use and stuff like that. Just being an intravenous drug user myself, I've definitely noticed that if I go anywhere and they find that out, there's, oh, suddenly you're some, you know, guys in the back alley shooting up out of a puddle and stuff like that. And then that brings youth further into depression and further into all these thoughts and makes them use more, and, you know, it just perpetuates the idea, really.
well, for like users, like if you're trying to get help with that, like they just look at your base appearance or your method of like use and automatically classify you as this or the other, and it's like, one thing's dirtier than the other. We can help you with this, but we can't help you with that. It's like, get rid of all that. Everything's the same like problem, whether it's addiction, poverty, looking for food.
Some people use drugs to try and help cope with different things, you know, deaths in families. Sometimes people even do it because they don't know why they get pressured into doing it, and then it starts off as that and it turns into something else in the end. Some people can lose control of it.
But yeah, it would be nice if in elementary school you could, I don't know, be helped with abuse and stuff, and just, you know, it could have helped me out if I dealt with some of these problems when I was younger, instead of having it all come back now.
I've had counselors at the other schools I've been to. I've been transferred around to like 3 different schools now, and I never really liked the guidance counselors because it was always just, they immediately just tried to find out what my problems were and how they could fix it. But I felt that they were only trying to fix it because it was their job.
Because of my worker, like my counselor or whatever, she didn't really listen to me. She just was like, oh, well, it's all okay, and it's like, no, it's not okay. Because I've had a lot of issues with like counselors and psychiatrists, and I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of like, you can just, I don't know, they expect you to like, not change right away, but I don't know, like I would be sent home with like meditation CDs and stuff, and it's like, I can't really, you know, sit down and do that. They have to be more realistic.
I find often like my biggest thing is you have people, when they're dealing with me, they underestimate me. That's the number one thing, is I feel very underestimated.
That it's going to be hard for us to like get ourselves out there and get the help that we need. We need people to come to us, and you know, it's like if you see somebody like crying on a street corner, they're not going to be like, guys, I need help. You know, you need somebody, like some, you know, beautiful, nice person to come up to you and be like, what's wrong? Are you okay? Yeah. You know?
Like, see where we're coming from, and sometimes adults don't understand. Like, that's how I feel, like sometimes adults don't understand. Like,
don't be afraid to get personal. Ask them. Let them know that you're not there to be the authority. Say they have a record. We're not judging you from your record. We just want to be open, talk to you, and find out who you really are.
For me, I think the biggest problem that most people will run into when you're like dealing with, you know, what's the word I want to say, like misguided youth, is a lot of the people who will come in is you don't really know what that kid's ever been through. Like, and also when you're dealing with a kid in this situation, they might be angry and they might, you know, lash out, but you have to understand like why the kid is in the situation.
Yeah, more hands-on work with youth, you know, this kind of thing, you know, doing panels and, you know, getting our feedback and opinions will definitely help you guys to provide what we need and what we want, essentially.
At first, it may be difficult. Just don't give up, because they'll realize that you're there for them, and that's what someone that is abusing drugs needs, is someone that they know cares.
You know, there's definitely needs to be a more open approach to, you know, dealing with youth, because we're very closed off sometimes. We feel we're not listened to, we have a bad goings on with adults and stuff like that generally.
You want to like have a blueprint. We want to show like a professional face, so that way we know to take you seriously, and also like you're professional but doesn't mean that you don't care. So what I would do like in a new setting would be that, hey, I want to get to know you, introduce yourself to me so I can kind of formulate myself into your character or something, because it's not about you give and then I overlap. It's more like we weave ourselves into each other kind of thing.
Maybe get them to feel comfortable and be like, okay, what are you comfortable with telling me? You don't have to tell me everything, just so I can get a little bit of understanding and let the youth come to them.
Everybody once was a kid, so the approach that should be taken should really be like human to human. It should be mutual.
Come to me in regular clothing and talk to me like a regular human being would be nice, Don't just accuse me of the problem, ask me about the problem.
Instead of pushing yourself all the time, you wait till the person comes to you that they need help. Sometimes they might not know what they want, so they don't know what to do. Like there's a few times I didn't know what I wanted, and I just kind of wanted to be left alone for a bit, and I kind of isolated myself from everyone.
And I feel like when you respect the people, you don't underestimate them. I feel like right off the bat, you just have more of 50-50. I feel like respected, you feel respected. You're looking at me as a human being, I'm looking at you as a human being, not you're a service provider and I'm someone who's coming to you to need help, So
that way, the bridge will build itself, because nature, the world has its way of doing its own thing. You don't have to force the sun to shine. It's gonna shine anyways. You don't have to. There's so many things you don't have to force. Trees will grow if you plant a seed.
Try and work it so that they're getting what they want, something they want out of it. You're getting what you need out of it, and it's just work together, not work because if you're just telling them what to do and things, it ends up in conflict and nothing ends up resolved. So I think that's the biggest thing is communication both ways, not one way. I think recently they've been getting there, reaching out to us and actually, seriously being like, how can we help you, instead of just, how can we help you? And then we try to say something, oh yeah, well you're a kid, so, you don't know what you want, you don't know what you need. Well, yeah, we do.
Well, I know that I have a lot of experience, being on and off the street and hanging out with people. I know if people are genuine or not.
Come outside and just listen and just try and understand what it's actually like day to day, instead of just secondhand experience, kind of. And if this isn't your normal safe zone, then that's awesome to me, because I'm like, well, if you're putting yourself in a very awkward position to help me, then I know that you have some meaning to it.
I don't know, you know what respecting someone feels like. I think we all know what that is,
Trust is very big for me. It takes me a lot to trust someone, to tell them what happened to me.
On top of that, it has to be someone we trust. I know, if you're in a business suit and all dressed up, upper class, you're not the first person I'm gonna jump on to talk to.
There's not much you can do to build that trust. It's something you have to earn, I guess.
You can talk to someone for hours, but if you don't trust them, then the words mean nothing.
I think that as, youth who, have problems with drugs and mental health and maybe, or homeless or whatever, I think that we need a lot of help actually accessing the resources that are there.
Wait lists are not helping anyone. One day, there are gonna be youth that are gonna be like, yeah, I really want the help, I need to get on my right track, and they'll have a few days where they're inspired and they'll sign up for all this stuff. But when they're waiting months and months to get the help, they're not gonna stick around for it. I waited 6 months. I didn't care anymore. I was like, if you weren't there when I needed the help, then why should I care now? I needed help more so then because of other things that happened. But at the same time, I didn't really want to talk to these, I had the emotion of, I don't want to talk to these people if they weren't there for me when I wanted them 6 months ago. So they're really not there for me, they're just out for themselves, was the way I was thinking. To be honest, I don't even know, because a lot of people come around and they say nobody uses our services, why don't you use our services? I didn't know about them. There's, no signs that say here, come here and we'll help you with this.
there's nothing. You know, they just expect that we're magically gonna know that there's this thing that can help us. Well, we don't.
When you're poor and like at a base value, like I just got out of detox like the other week. I'm grinding my fucking gears trying to get into this program and the other program.
But I don't have that much trust, even though I've been in the system for so long. It's just because my worker, she was, every time I needed her, especially in the summer, because I needed real help in the summer, I was going downhill. And I asked for help, but she wasn't there, and you have to talk to your worker. It's like, well, then why are you offering help? Then, like, if I have to talk to my worker's not there, then who am I supposed to talk to, right?
They need to offer, like, just level support for anyone who needs it.
There's so much more that can be done. Like, there is a lot of support, but I mean, a lot of those places that offer support, I find, have a closing time.
You know, like, yeah, you can call and they'll, like, drop needles off or whatever if you're an intravenous user, but, you know, how many people with their pill, like, right there, are gonna be like, okay, now I gotta go find that number and go call them and wait for however long they're gonna show up to, you know, bring me this. They're just gonna go dig in their bag and find one of their rigs that they've already used.
Addiction and poverty doesn't take a break. Like, offer 24-hour service, even if it's someone who's drinking coffee all night, sitting on a phone. Able to hear one person's voice that's saying, yeah, this can help, is enough to stop some people right in their tracks to think. Whereas you close down at 5, once again, addiction doesn't take a break. Like, it's a lifelong thing, even if you don't realize it. Even before you picked up the substance, you had it in your head. Like, it's not like, yeah, you can take a Sunday off, it's okay, you'll be fine, relax. No. You're gonna wake up that morning and go, what am I dealing with, and then you can't find anyone on a Sunday.
Maybe more like youth rehabs, a youth detox, because you're not allowed to be there if you're under the age of 16. And
even to have somewhere where you can go after hours and go and pick up, well, whether it be to pick up drug kits or to even just talk to someone after hours, you know, would be like really essential.
Something that I think is really necessary is that we have hazardous waste disposal boxes everywhere. When Dave and I went to Vancouver, in certain neighborhoods, they had that kind of stuff, and you know, the streets were actually pretty clean because of that, even though there's like, you know, so many addicts. And I feel like having those disposal boxes would also make the fact that, you know, there's people using, it would make it more public, more people would be more aware of that.
You know, instead of hiding the problem, let's advertise, yeah, you know, there is a problem, and instead of trying to sweep it away, let's just deal with it.
Definitely one thing is have youth workers that are, you know, working beside you with, you know, with the adults, the ones who are more experienced with, you know, outreach work and stuff like that, because that'll definitely bridge the gap between, you know, youth and adult. They can have that kind of median person to go back and forth between.
Let's say you have a problem and you have somebody like a good friend or your mom or somebody like that who you're really comfortable talking to about your problems, but they might not have the knowledge and resources that are needed to help you with your problem. And then there's the opposite end of like a counselor or a therapist who has the knowledge and resources to help you with your problems, but you might not feel comfortable enough talking about them with that person because you don't know them and because they might not have experienced what you've experienced or like something close to that.
To get someone that has been through an experience and be able to speak to the youth about their experience, because that would have a lot of impact on most people.
I would definitely have someone that already knows the experience to guide you around town, show you all the dangers and potentials and stuff like that, and show you all the good that you can have in life. And not just teach you all the negatives, teach you positives too.
Because I know it's harder for teens to like be able to open up to people because they don't know how to relate.
I'd rather have a lived experience member than someone who's got a piece of paper saying they know what to do.
It's harder for me to open up to someone who hasn't been through what I have been through.
I've talked to both different kinds of people, and I find it so much easier talking to someone who has already previously used if not the same drug as me, at least used something or shared some similar experience, whether it be homelessness or poverty.
You know, you kind of have to like find somebody who's kind of lived that, or, you know, hope that somebody's kind of lived that. And
I need places where they know what I've been through. They've done the things I've done, like
talking with someone who knows what my life is like for real, and not just using me as a statistic or just another number in the crowd.